Hello, my rubber hearts. Today we are opening another drawer in the Rubber Technologies toolbox, and this one is dedicated to the ingredients that quietly do most of the heavy lifting, even though they rarely get the credit. These are the additives nobody puts on marketing slides, nobody brags about, or notices until they are missing. I'm talking about processing aids, oils, and peptizers. They don't make headlines, but without them, most rubber compounds would be impossible to mix, impossible to process, and inconsistent in performance. Let's start with the big picture. Rubber compounding isn't just about choosing the right polymer and filler. It's about controlling how that material behaves while you are mixing it, shaping it, curing it, and finally using it. Processing aids, oils, and peptizers don't usually change what the rubber is, but they dramatically change how it behaves along the way. And that behavior determines whether your compound runs smoothly or fights you at every step. Processing oils are probably the most familiar. From a chemical point of view, these are low molecular weight hydrocarbons, most often aromatic, naphthenic, paraffinic, or synthetic equivalents depending on regulation and application. Their chemistry is chosen to be compatible with the polymer, so they dissolve into the rubber phase rather than separating out. When you add an oil to rubber, you're doing something very specific at the molecular level. The oil molecules sit between the polymer chains and reduce the friction between them. Think of it as internal lubrication. The chains slide past each other more easily, which lowers viscosity, improves flow, and reduces mixing energy. This is why adding oil makes compounds softer, easier to process, and often faster to disperse fillers. But the softness isn't magic. It happens because the oil increases free volume inside the rubber, allowing chains to move more freely. That same mechanism also lowers the glass transition temperature and changes dynamic behavior. More oil usually means lower modulus, lower hardness, higher flexibility, and often higher damping. But oils don't just soften rubber, they also influence filler dispersion. A well-chosen oil wets the filler surface and helps break down agglomerates during mixing. A poorly chosen oil can do the opposite, making dispersion harder and more uneven. That is why aromatic, naphthenic, and paraffinic oils behave differently, and why compatibility with the polymer matters so much. If the oil doesn't like the polymer, it migrates, it bleeds or separates, and suddenly your helper becomes defect. Now let's talk about processing aids, which are often confused with oils but act differently. Chemically, processing aids are a broad group that can include fatty acid derivatives, metal soap, esters, waxy polymers, or low molecular weight resins. What they have in common is that they don't fully dissolve into the polymer the way oils do. Instead, they preferentially migrate to interfaces. Mechanistically, many process aids work by forming thin boundary layers at polymer-polymer, polymer-filler, or polymer-metal interfaces. They reduce friction exactly where it matters most without flooding the whole compound. Inside the mixer, this lowers shear stress and stabilizes torque. On the mill or extruder, it reduces sticking, improves surface finish, and helps the compound release cleanly from metal surfaces. This is why you can add a processing aid without dramatically lowering hardness the way oil does. The compound still holds its shape, but it stops fighting the equipment. From a chemical standpoint, the processing aid is acting like a surface modifier, not a bulk plasticizer. Then there are peptizers, the least understood and most misunderstood of the group. Chemically, peptizers are usually sulfur-containing organic compounds, metal salts, or oxidative accelerators designed to promote controlled chain scission. Their job is not lubrication, their job is chemistry. They act on the polymer backbone itself. Peptizers act early in the mixing process, especially with natural rubber. Their job is to reduce molecular weight by breaking down long polymer chains in a controlled way. They don't just soften rubber temporarily. they permanently change the chain length distribution. Mechanically, they accelerate mastication. Chemically, they promote oxidative or mechanochemical chain scission under heat and shear. The result is a rubber that breaks down faster, mixes more easily, and reaches a workable viscosity sooner. This is incredibly useful but also dangerous if misunderstood. Too much peptizer or too aggressive condition can over-degrade the polymer, reducing strength, tear resistance, and fatigue life. Used correctly, peptizers give you consistency and efficiency. Used blindly, they quietly damage your compound before you even add fillers. What's important to understand is that all these helpers interact. Oil lowers viscosity, which changes shear, which changes how peptizers act. Processing aids change friction, which affects heat buildup, which influences chain breakdown. None of these additives act in isolation. They shape the entire mixing history of the compound, and that history follows the rubber all the way to the final part. This is why two compounds with identical formulations on paper can behave completely differently in production. One flows beautifully, cures evenly, and produces stable parts. The other scorches, sticks, and varies from batch to batch. The difference is often hidden in a few pHr of oil, a fraction of a pHr of processing aid, or a peptizer added at the wrong stage. So the lesson here is simple yet powerful. Processing aids, oils, and peptizers may be invisible in marketing claims, but they are very visible in the mixer, on the mill, and in the finished product. They don't just make rubber easier to process, they define how the rubber becomes rubber during compounding. Once you start seeing these additives not as extras but as control tools, you'll understand why a good rubber technologist spends just as much time tuning the helpers as they do tuning the headline ingredients. Until next time, stay elastic and stay curious.